Hey everybody, it's Del Shores, and as promised on this Saturday morning, I am going to talk to y'all a little bit, a little rambling here, if you will. And I just want to start by saying thank you to every person who has commented, who has sent me a DM, who's texted me if you've got my phone number. About Leslie's death. It was so appreciated. I haven't been able to answer everybody, and I probably won't be able to because it was a lot of messages, and it just shows how much he was loved and is loved. It's hard for me to speak about him in past tense. So it's been a difficult time, and I've been away from talking to y'all personally, but have been trying to share some memories with you. And one of the most common questions that I got was, how did you meet Leslie Jordan? And I met Leslie in 1985. He came to the McCadden Place Theater to see my very first play called Cheatin'. And there was a role that he liked very much in it, named Bob Jasper. And my director and producer, Sherry Landrum and Rex Knowles, they had improv classes, and Leslie was in their improv class. And they told me about him. They said, "Oh, he's so special. He's like your voice. You're gonna love him." And the first time I met him was in the theater, and he came down and he said, "I just love to play. I love to play, and if you ever need a Bob, I'm available." And so that was kind of it for a while. And then the play continued to run. It got an equity production in Kansas City. And the actor that was playing the role was unable to do it in Kansas City. And so we had auditions, and Leslie came in. I had remembered him and brought him in to audition. And the first thing that in the audition, he had this line, "Hey Sid, nice day, ain't it?" And I always say, he had me at, "Hey Sid, nice day, ain't it?" We went to Kansas City. We worked together countless times, so many stage productions. I think we did a series together. We did 3 movies together. I always describe Leslie as as the little guy with the most talent, per inch. I was trying to think and formulate it right, but he just spoke my language. He was from my dirt. He was Southern Baptist, or was, when I met. Oh, by the way, when I met Leslie, when we first started hanging out, he was a Buddhist. I bet y'all didn't know that. He doesn't talk much about that. And he was a Buddhist for very selfish reasons. He would chant, Yam-yo ho renge ho, get my ass on the Carson show. But I just fell in love with him, and we did Cheatin' in Kansas City. They were so conservative at that theater, they changed the title to A Little Bit of Lovin'. And he just wooed the audiences every single day. And I was engaged at the time to my ex-wife Kelly, and she and I decided we were going to get married there on my night off on a Monday. And Leslie was our best man. I always say, that's where it all started going wrong, when Leslie Jordan is your best man, and you're, harboring the secret of being gay. So anyway, we had 2 daughters. My first daughter, Rebecca, is his goddaughter. He claimed both of them, and I said it in the post earlier, he gave them no spiritual guidance whatsoever, just a lot of great presents. And he was at every birthday party, and right up to the end, last Christmas, he took Rebecca and me out to dinner for our birthdays at Craig's. And that was the last time I think Rebecca saw him. I saw him several times after that. But so that was, I'm gonna continue to try to share some little stories with you, some that maybe haven't been told before about Leslie, because he was genuinely a beautiful human. And I'll end with this story, because completing that that Kansas City time that we had together doing a little bit of loving, we would get a per diem. We weren't making much money, back then, and I think we got a per diem of like $100 or something a week. It was ridiculously low, and it was in cash. And we would go to this little diner, and we had met this waitress. And with Leslie and me, you get to know people very fast because we asked them questions and we would talk to her. And this waitress had told us that her husband had left her, and I think she described him as a piece of shit. And she wasn't getting any alimony or child support, and she was having to work really, really hard at that diner. So we were there for Christmas. We didn't get to go home for Christmas because of the schedule, and we went to the diner on Christmas Eve, and she was working. And Leslie asked her, he said, well, you're gonna have a Christmas tonight for the kids? She had 3, I think I said that. And she said, well, it's not gonna be much of a Christmas this year, and we just not a lot of money. And so she left, and Leslie said, do you have your per diem with you? And I said, yeah. And he said, so do I. Let's give her 50 each. And that was like half of our per diem, and I didn't hesitate. He was right, and we did. And then when we went outside to leave, it was actually a white Christmas that year. It was snowing a little bit, and we looked through the diner window as we were about to drive off, and we had read her, Leslie had written her a note that said, I can't remember her name, but he said, you spend all of this money on those kids so they can have a good Christmas. And when she read that note and she saw the money, she just sort of collapsed in the booth and was crying, and we drove off with her crying, I think, for joy. And I tell that story because, a lot of stories are being told about Leslie, but he did give back. He always gave back. There was never a charity that asked him to do something for them. And in fact, the last time I saw him, I went to dinner at Louis Bottega's with him, and that he took me to see his new condo that he never got to move into. And he signed a bunch of these for me for charity, and I have one left, and I'm going to keep it. So those are some of my memories, and it was so shocking that we lost him so abruptly, and I can't believe that I'm not going to be able to write for him again, that I can't create another character for him. So one thing that I've been doing lately, thank you, Tony, for telling me about Anderson Cooper's podcast, All There Is. So Anderson Cooper, thank you for Stephen Colbert. Thank you for that beautiful podcast number 2. It's on grief. And if any of you are going through grief with Leslie or anybody else, it's a beautiful podcast to listen to, and it helps. And we must grieve, because that means we loved that person very, very much. And I love you, Leslie Jordan, and I always will love you. And this is a rambling on a Saturday. Y'all have a good weekend, and more soon, shorter ones, okay? Bye.